All right, kids. I'm back. It took 3 days to get home from Los Angeles because of planes were grounded, because of the Alaska thing, all the Boeings were grounded. That's how it started. And then all the snow. And I mean, we were buried here. We're still kind of buried under a little bit in Nashville. So, yeah, it took 3 days. Whoa. But, so, I've been feeling like I'm on the wrong path with some things with mixing. And I think, and I'm just going to kind of, this is just how I feel about it. I feel like I went to a bunch of Mix with the Masters. I'm friends with a bunch of these guys. I've studied a lot of it. And the mixing got complicated. It got way complicated. And what happened was I would sit down at songs and I didn't know where to start, which you'd think like after all these years, but I'd like lost my confidence maybe. And I didn't know where to start. And I just like thinking about how he does it and how they do it and how she does it and how he does it and they do. He's in the box. They're on consoles. It's, hybrid. What? And I just had this moment of clarity, like, I don't know. I contacted Warren Hewart from Produce Like a Pro, PLAP. Anyway, so I told him, hey, I wanted to do a little consultation with him, just to kind of air out like some of these things and see what he thinks. But I said, I want to, we're going to renew my membership with the Academy, and I want to start like ground zero. So while I was stuck in airports for a couple of days, I imported Rely On into Logic and started messing around with my earbuds. I was watching the videos, but I couldn't. Logic and the laptop, it wasn't happening for me. So I got home and I'm on it today. So what I did was I pulled in Rely On. I started with just the drums. Oh, that's drums then. Oh yeah, just the drums, and then I got the bass going. So I'm going to show you what the video I've been watching. So it's just mixing basic drums, Warren Hewart, Produce Like a Pro. And then he's got one for bass, and I see he's got one for guitars, and he's got one for vocals and everything. But I took like, I spent about 4 hours messing with this. And basically what I did was I just took all of my mix template, just kicked it to the side, pulled over a few things, but I started to just, let go, right? Letting go of what I think I know, letting go of all this stuff. I just started watching the video, and the thing is, this video, maybe I'll link it down. It's mixing basic drums with Warren Hewart. He goes right from like kick, and it's very simple the way he lays it out, and it was like exactly what the doctor ordered. So I'm going to show you a little bit of what I kind of started putting together and what I've learned. Learned a lot, actually. So what I did was, I'll kind of show you let me do this. Let me kill the bass. I'll play a little bit of the drums. The beginning has a kind of a rim shot. I'm not going to worry about that. We're just when it kicks in. So here are the drums. Rely On. get the gist of it. So I'm pretty stoked. That's really, nice. And again, I think that there's certain things that I have a lot of talent for. There's certain things I don't have a lot of talent for. There's certain things I have medium talent for. Me, mixing has always kind of been in that medium area. It took a lot of work to get decent. Where a lot of people, maybe they get it really quick, but it took a lot of work to get decent. So it's just been one of those things. So I kind of wanted to get a scheme going. So his concept here, let me see if I can, let me just loop the second verse here. Right, so it was like his concept being just like EQing. And this was kind of his setup. I messed with it to adapt to my kick, but it kind of worked like the way he was talking about it. And I'm not going to get into what he was talking about really, because you can watch the video. And then the gate, and then so he was using just stock Pro Tools plugins, Avid plugins or whatever. And I was like, I kind of liked using this gate. Instead of using the EQ7 in Pro Tools, I use this because I like this. I just like this plugin and I can use it. It's easy. And the other thing and I think this really started coming about when I've been working on getting my vocal sound ready. I have people coming out from all over the next 3 to 4 months tracking vocals. So I'm like, I got to get my mojo on. Really delved into the distressor. Man, and so this morning when I fired this up and I started going through compressors across the board, that's what I liked on drums. This is the UA distressor. I just thought this thing was perfect. It just sounded awesome, and it's across the board on all of them. You can see it. A lot of it's the same. I just drug it over and made little adjustments, but there's where the kick is. So there's the EQ. That's the kick in. Let me enlarge this window so I can see more. Yeah, so you can see kick in right here. That's nice, man. And then you come over here, and then here's the kick sub. All the kicks come to this, so it's got a little bit of a lighter version of it, kind of an overall, and then I've got some compression here. This channel strip is fantastic, and then that the JST clipper, and then a little bit of limiter. So what I'm going to show you is the drum grouping here, the kick grouping. So I've got kick in, I've got kick out, which I did that low pass. I'm so used to saying high cut. It's such a weird thing. And then again with the Kundalini and the hoo-ha and the distressor. And if you take it out, take the kick out. Yeah, it just does this little dimension. It's not even just low end. I don't know. It just sounds really serious. And then I've got a kick sample. This is old. This is songs from like 20 years ago, 15, 20 years ago. So this is just a grouping of samples that we bounced out when we bounced this song out like in 2006, 7. It's got kind of low. It was a little ticky. And then here's the kick trigger. Which I ended up putting back in. That Andy Wallace sample is killer, man. I don't even know where we got it. We just have it. And that's it. And then on the kick sample, we've got the distressor. And on the kick trigger, we've got the distressor. And that's it. And all 4 of these are bussed to the kick sub, which has that little EQ on there. It's got the channel, which has some EQ too. I just was futzing with it till I liked the way it sounded. The clipper, and then a little L1. Just really parking that thing. And that, that's where I've had, how do I say this? I've missed the mark where things weren't parked enough, and I don't know if people don't like compression, that's fine. You're probably not going to want to watch my videos, so go find somebody else, right? And then I've got some parallels coming here, which is I've got boom, and I've got the boom, and I've got the drum crush, which is here. So here's drum crush, which has a fatso on it. I love that, man. That plugin's killer too. But here is grit and boom. I'll move this down here so it's easier to see. Right. So grit is just a parallel distortion with decapitator, and then boom is just a subharmonic generator. So I don't have any grit. Oh yeah, I have grit on the drum bus here. And then I've got boom right on the channel. Right? That's diggity. Okay, wait, I just blew that up. Yeah, there we go. Sorry about that. So there's your kick, right? And does everybody understand that? And then I took half the stuff off my mix bus. I've got basically a massive passive that's very passive. It's just a little bit of stuff from my old days of using the GML, which is still here. And then I've got I was using a bunch of various versions of this SSL. I had the waves. I had something else on one of them. The SSL native to me is just it's absolutely lights out. So I've got the little bit of bus compression on the master or the mix. Really moving because that's only the kick. And then I've got this center thing, which my buddy put it on there. I don't even know what it really does, but it sounds cool, so I just left it. And that's it. And then at the end, I've got, the waves meter, WLM full, meter thing, right? Loudness meter. But there you go. So here's kick. You're hearing some snare come through. This is where you can change the range of this to so here's kick, here's the... You get less, but it kind of feels, once you bring everything in, you don't hear it like that, right? Here's kick. All right, and now we'll go to snare top. This was the biggest problem. This was a major problem. Yeah, this was a major problem. And there's some bizarre ring, man. I'm trying to think of who tracked drums. I think this was Sean Winchester. And he must have had some Black Beauty that was hooting. Because if I take all this off, you will hear it. And it is unforgiving. Here, let's get all this. Here's just snare top. It doesn't even sound as weird anymore because I got so dang used to it. So I worked on that by, finding different... Kind of kills the sound, but you'll see you kind of make it up around. It's really scary. Here's the gate. I don't know. And then distressor. And then I have this a little bit on the snare sub. All right, so let's go down. So that's snare top, which has been de-emphasized because as much as I could fix it, it just was bugging me. I just didn't like it in general. Here's the snare bottom. I mean, it sounds kind of whack, but and then distressor. I guess we kind of could probably, do a little bit of this guy. I don't know. We'll see. Snare top and bottom. Snare trigger. You see, that's where you get a little forgiveness. Forgiveness. This it's from Just Friends. Forgiveness. That's the greatest movie. And here's the snare sample from that session that had been bounced out. And then you come to here and you've got snare Ms. This is a sample that we got. It's from a song where the Ms is the first 3 letters. So see if you can figure it out. Nice 80s gated, right? All 5 of them. All 5 snares going into the snare sub. Snare trig is giving it a nice distance, which is taking some of the herky-jerkiness out. And obviously when you put the overs in, it kind of lightens up. I'll kill this, and then you can just hear. Yeah, nice, right? My toms, I did a little of that EQ, and again, distressors. I just put distressors across it. Also, I figured, for just, I don't know, just simplicity. And then you'll see the ride. So the toms and the ride, you'll see here, I cut out. So, like, here's the toms. I'm sorry. Toms. And I also cut out the ride. So the ride comes in kind of pre-chorus, chorus. It really kicks in the chorus here. And overs. So toms are going to tom sub, which has no EQ on it. I've got the channel strip on there. Let me see if I can get a little. Yeah. Hold on. And I've got the clipper on there again. I've got the clipper also on the snare and the kick, and on the snare, going back to the snare, I've got kind of the Sheps thing, which was boosting the 220 on this Neve 31102. It really does make it fat. And then overs, which were a little messy too, in a sense that they had the a lot of this. So I did a little bit of this to try to get a little of that out. And no EQ, and I've got the nothing crazy, and limiters on all these subs just to control. And I've got rooms, which I really haven't done much at all to them. Did that same EQ to get because the was in the it's in everything. Yeah, I haven't really messed with that yet, but I've already got a parallel, so yeah. So, and then you'll see here on the subs of kick, all 4 subs have a drum crush bus. You can see it right there. They're all hitting differently. I kind of adjusted it as I went, and that's this right here, which is no EQ, and it's got a fatso on it. So if I go to and I had all these reverbs and all. I took everything off, kept it simple. I've got 2 reverbs. I've got a general drum reverb, and I've got a snare reverb. And I just used Valhalla Room, and I just try to get the snare reverb out before the next snare. So if I kill this, you can. And I've got that on the sub, but you could put that just on a sample. Let's try something here. Like snare trigger, right? So if I come here, right, and I kill this, right? So here it is. This is with the snare, with all the snares live and everything triggering this snare verb. Now just simple trigger, so there's no bleed of everything else. And then all the snares. It's a little cleaner. I don't know. I'm just gonna leave it like there for right now. I kind of like it. So there you go. And then I just put a Valhalla Room on the drum, as a drum reverb, and I just kind of messed with it till I liked it. I put that on bass and on toms and overs. I also put it a little bit on bass to kind of give it all its own thing, and that's it. So this is way simple. Like if I sat down and didn't explain it, like I could have it sounding pretty close to this in probably 5-10 minutes, 10-15 minutes, right? Clean up drums, whatever you need to do. Now the bass, and this is gonna be a wrap. What Warren did on his here, I'll open this up so you can see it, and I'm giving him credit on this because this was his thing. This is his video, so it's called Mixing Basics Bass Warren Hewitt, and yeah, there it is. So it's the same series, the same song, but now it was bass, and I just kind of did it basically like he did it. I kind of adapted it to myself, and he duplicated his DI twice. So here's the original DI, which I'm not using, but here's the duplicate 2 and 3, and basically there it is. So it's low passing one of them and then high passing the other, and then you compress them pretty solid, and then I ended up limiting them at the end. And the reason he said that was to get the bass to be consistent, because he's like, the thing with bass, like, depending on where you're at in the string, or there's a lot of bass can really fluctuate. And then I've got 3 microphones on the bass amp, which is probably an SVT. I've got a 57, a 421, and a D6. Keep in mind, this was like 15 years ago when I was like, yeah, it was ridiculous. I had like 900 microphones on everything. Like, it's like I have 487s on the shaker. I was like mental, right? You have mental problems with that. So the beautiful thing of this is, if I just kill the drum bus. Oh, it's still coming through the grits, right? Right, the reverb. Okay, well, we'll figure that out. But there you go. Right, so now here's bass by itself. With those settings. Just adjusted the taste, and then I brought in the bass amps. So here's the DI low pass. Here's the DI high pass. Then here's just the 57. I didn't even touch these. I just put them through and did a master. I just blended them. Here's 57 on the amp. Here's the 421 on the amp. And here is the D6 on the amp. Yeah, whatever. Maybe they're just there. And then you'll see they also have a crush, which is Mammoth into Decapitator, or into Devil. I love Devil Lock. As growly as you want, and then everything is bussing over to the bass sub, right? So if I mute this, right, there you go, nothing. And this, I've got this Puig Tech. Again, I put the SSL bus. And then this was the EQ, kind of getting that finger clacky here around 2K. Up a little at the bottom there, and then I put a limiter, L1. Then what I did was I took that, it's called DENV, but it's just drum verb. I took this and I just brought it over to a little bit of the drum verb to kind of blend it all in, and there it is. And again, on the master, we've got a little manly, massive passive, the SSL bus compressor, this wave center, I'm not sure, and the little meter thing. So here I will leave up the bus compressor. I'll play a little bit. is Sean Winchester. I'm almost 100% sure that is Sean Winchester on drums. He played for a long time with Everclear. All right. It's weird to listen to like old songs, old tracks, but I've got to mix 2 new songs from scratch for Scooter Page. I didn't want to do this with his songs because I wanted to kind of work it out because I already know this. I just know this tune. It's a really good performance. The snare recording's not the hottest, but all right. So the next video is going to be this. It's going to be extended from here on this mix template, and it's going to be guitars, leads, vocals, background vocals, and whatever kind of because I won't know 100% how this is going to all jive until I bring in. But I really wanted to take my time and do this kind of by the numbers, and and it is a lot simpler. And I'm trying to get like the stressors are always on this 4th, trying to keep it consistent. And then up here is on the 3rd is where I'm putting on this are like the channel strips, and I'm just using all the same. No more 50,000. I'm done with it. I have to keep this thing simple. Yeah, there's the bus compressor, and this is a really great plugin. This JST clipper. I don't know if everybody doesn't have a clipper. That's a good one, and it's usually like $40 or something. All right, so next one's coming. It's good to be home. Feel good. All right, everybody feel good. Peace.